Listen closely, folks. There is a mechanical hazard sitting inside your daily carry pistol right this very second. It is completely invisible to the naked eye. It recently caused a duty weapon to catastrophically detonate in the hands of a sworn federal security officer. And the terrifying truth is that almost nobody in the civilian world ever checks for it. We are going to cover that lethal mistake at the very end of this session. Today, we are breaking down 9 elite-level firearms protocols. These are hard-learned lessons pulled from grandmaster competition shooters, seasoned rangemasters, and decades of tactical field reports. We are starting at number 9 and working our way down to the most critical safety warning you will hear all year. Number 9. Carbon coating your iron sights. Old-school military marksmanship instructors used to pace behind recruits holding lit candles. They were not doing it for ambiance. They knew that raw metal reflects ambient light. When the afternoon sun catches the leading edge of your front post, it creates an optical illusion. That tiny sliver of glare subconsciously forces your eye to shift the entire sight picture. Your shot group begins walking away from the light source, and you are left standing there frustrated. You blame your barrel, you blame your trigger pull, or you blame your ammunition. The actual solution costs absolutely nothing. Take a standard pocket lighter. Hold the flame just below the iron sights, letting only the raw soot drift up onto the metal. You want to deposit dry carbon, not roast the slide. Coat that front blade and the rear notch until they absorb light like a black hole. Make sure you degrease them first, or the carbon will not adhere. Professional service rifle competitors still carry specialized carbide lamps specifically for this routine. It wipes off with a simple thumb swipe when you are done. 15 seconds of prep, and your sight picture becomes surgically precise. Number 8. Indexing your feeding devices. When a modern semi-automatic weapon chokes, the amateur immediately blames the manufacturer. If the gun gets cleared, they blame the cartridge. The experienced shooter knows the actual culprit is usually a fatigued magazine. It could be a binding spring, or an anti-tilt follower that is finally giving up the ghost and nosediving your rounds directly into the feed ramp. Here is the professional fix. Grab a high-visibility paint marker. Tag the base plate of every single feeding device in your kit with a unique digit. Now, when you experience a failure to feed on the line, you drop the magazine and look at the floor. If it is always magazine number 4 causing the malfunction, you have isolated the variable. You do not have a defective firearm. You have a $12 hardware issue. Instead of spending 2 years complaining on internet forums, you solve the mystery in 2 range sessions. Marking your gear eliminates the guesswork, and a firearm you fully comprehend is a firearm you can trust to save your life. Number 7. Starving your pistol of excess lubricant. There is a massive misconception that running a gun absolutely soaked in oil makes it run faster. That is completely backwards. Excessive liquid lubrication acts exactly like industrial flypaper. It actively traps airborne dust, burnt carbon, clothing lint, and environmental grit. It churns all that debris into a highly abrasive lapping compound directly on your slide rails. Military technical manuals have stated this clearly for decades. Heavy lubrication invites catastrophic malfunctions, but it gets significantly worse inside your striker channel. If you flood the rear of your slide, that lubricant will congeal when the temperature drops. The result is a sluggish firing pin, a weak primer strike, and a terrifying click when you desperately need a bang. Furthermore, if you carry in an inside-the-waistband holster all day, gravity pulls that excess oil straight down through the breech face. It can actually penetrate the primer pocket of your chambered round and deactivate the chemical compound. That striker channel must remain completely bone dry. Scrub it out with high-percentage isopropyl alcohol and a cotton swab. Keep the muzzle pointed toward the floor while cleaning, so no solvents drain backward. If you want to know exactly where to apply lubricant, let the weapon show you. Field strip the gun and look for the bright silver witness marks where the factory finish has worn away. Those specific friction points are the only places that require a microscopic drop of high-quality oil. Number 6. Cease the daily magazine unloading ritual. This specific topic initiates more heated debates in the firearms community than almost anything else. You have probably been told that leaving your magazines fully stuffed will ruin the internal spring tension. Consequently, well-meaning concealed carriers diligently strip their magazines every single evening to let the metal rest. That practice is fundamentally flawed. Coiled spring steel does not degrade from remaining in a static, compressed state. It degrades through the physical act of cycling. Every single time you strip a cartridge out and shove it back in, you are inducing metallurgical wear. Industry destructive testing has proven this conclusively. A standard factory Glock 17 magazine spring can withstand roughly 15,000 compressions before surrendering. Modern polymer rifle magazines utilizing advanced chrome silicon spring steel can exceed 70,000 cycles. These components are specifically engineered to remain under maximum load for years without yielding. The outdated myth stems from antiquated, poorly tempered blued steel springs from 50 years ago. Invest in premium magazines, load them to full capacity, and simply leave them alone. The ironic truth is that the person constantly unloading their gear to protect it is actually destroying it exponentially faster. Number 5. Establishing skeletal alignment watch. An untrained individual step onto the firing line. You will immediately notice them using brute muscular force to steer the weapon onto the target. Their arms are actively fighting their torso, and their hips are fighting their stance. Because the sights look aligned in the moment, they believe their mechanics are sound, but the moment the sear breaks, the group drifts drastically to one side. Here is the elite diagnostic test utilized by military-designated marksmen. Build your shooting stance and aim directly at the center mass of your target. Now, close both of your eyes. Take 2 deep, controlled breaths, completely relax your upper body tension, and open your eyes. Did your sights remain anchored on the bullseye, or did the muzzle drift off into empty space? Wherever that weapon naturally settled is your true mechanical point of aim. You were previously forcing the gun into position with pure muscle. Muscles rapidly fatigue, and muscles constantly tremor. Do not force the weapon back to the center. Instead, physically pivot your entire body structure. Adjust your footwork a few degrees, rebuild your grip, and run the blind test again. When your skeletal frame naturally indexes on the threat, the firearm stops fighting your anatomy and tracks perfectly under recoil. Number 4. Validating your defensive payload. This concept makes a lot of casual gun owners extremely defensive. The average civilian purchases a single premium box of defensive hollow points. They fill their carry weapon, holster it, and never actually fire a single one of those rounds. They are essentially betting their entire existence on a ballistic profile they have never tested. There are 2 critical failures waiting to happen here. First is the mechanical feed geometry. A subcompact pistol that flawlessly cycles cheap, round-nose practice ammunition might violently choke on a wide-mouthed defensive projectile. Second is the actual ballistic trajectory. A fast, lightweight training bullet and a heavy, bonded defensive bullet will not impact the same physical space on a target. At 25 yards, the point of impact divergence can be several inches. In a dynamic encounter, that variance is the difference between a critical hit and a complete miss. You need to purchase 2 identical boxes of your chosen carry ammunition. Whether you are running Hornady critical defense or standard defensive loads, you must vet it. Run an entire box through the exact magazine and weapon system you intend to carry. Verify the cycling reliability and confirm the exact point of impact. If you are running a slide-mounted optic, many professionals are now confirming their zeros at 15 yards to minimize mechanical offset at close contact distances. Number 3. Advanced dry fire diagnostics. Dry fire training is completely free, and it is the absolute foundation of high-level weapon mastery. However, most individuals execute it poorly. Here are the 2 specific regimens that will completely rewire your trigger mechanics. Before we even start, strip the magazine. Lock the slide to the rear. Visually and physically inspect that chamber to ensure we are completely unloaded. Remove all live ammunition from the immediate training environment. The coin drill. Balance a simple piece of currency or an empty brass casing directly on top of your front sight post. Acquire your grip and press the trigger completely to the rear. Gravity does not lie to you. If that object tumbles to the floor, you are either slapping the trigger shoe or aggressively dipping the muzzle. When you can successfully break the trigger 10 consecutive times without disturbing the coin, your central nervous system has learned the secret of an isolated trigger finger. Next is the wall drill. Stand inches away from a completely blank, textureless wall. Do not use a target. Stare exclusively at the front sight blade and press the trigger. By removing the distraction of a target, your eyes become hyper-aware of the micro-tremors in your grip. 10 minutes of this focused repetition in your living room is vastly superior to a lazy afternoon wasting lead at the local range. Number 2. Exposing the unconscious flinch. Now we are going to diagnose the number 1 destroyer of accuracy. It is not your astigmatism, and it is not a heavy trigger pull. It is an anticipatory flinch. The most frustrating aspect of a flinch is that your own brain actively deletes the memory of it happening. Your subconscious understands that a violent, high-pressure explosion is about to occur 18 inches from your face. In a desperate attempt to control the recoil, Your hands contract a microsecond before the firing pin strikes. The muzzle dives hard. If you are right-handed, your rounds impact low and to the left. The cure for this is the ball and dummy protocol. Hand your empty magazine to a training partner. Instruct them to randomly stagger live cartridges with inert polymer snap caps. When you step up to the line, you have zero knowledge of the loading sequence. You press the trigger, expecting the violent recoil of a live round. Instead, you get a dead click. In that sudden, silent void, your physical flinch is exposed for the entire range to witness. You will actually see your own hands violently shove the gun downward. Once your brain recognizes the error, you can correct it. When you catch yourself diving the muzzle, immediately stop your live fire. Execute 10 flawless dry fire repetitions to reset your nervous system, then resume the drill. Number 1. The lethality of bullet setback. Here is the absolute most dangerous habit in the concealed carry community. If your daily routine involves stripping a live round out of your chamber every night, only to rack that exact same cartridge back in the next morning, you are constructing a handheld pipe bomb. Every single time the slide strips that cartridge from the magazine, the nose of the bullet violently slams into the steel feed ramp. That repeated kinetic impact physically hammers the lead projectile deeper into the brass casing. This phenomenon is known as bullet setback. It is highly deceptive because the overall cartridge still looks relatively normal and will still chamber. However, internal ballistic physics dictate that pushing a bullet deeper drastically reduces the internal volume of the casing. When you ignite gunpowder inside a compressed space, chamber pressures do not just rise slightly. They spike to catastrophic, proof-testing levels. This is exactly what happened at the Los Alamos National Laboratory. A duty pistol structurally detonated on the firing line, shearing the frame and launching the slide assembly downrange. Forensic investigations determined the officer had been repeatedly chambering the identical round for months. Major manufacturers have confirmed this mechanical reality. Law enforcement bulletins mandate that duty ammunition should never be chambered more than twice. The .40 caliber crowd learned this lesson through shattered frames and injured hands. Furthermore, repeated chambering crushes the sensitive primer anvil, potentially causing a dead trigger when you are fighting for your life. The mitigation strategy is incredibly simple. Take a permanent marker. Every time you manually eject a chambered round, place a black dot on the casing and rotate it to the absolute bottom of your magazine stack. Once every round in that magazine has a dot, transition that ammunition to your training pile and load fresh defensive stock. If you ever compare an ejected round to a fresh one from the box and notice it is even fractionally shorter, dispose of it immediately. That is no longer a defensive tool. It is an overpressure fragmentation device. If this tactical breakdown shifted your perspective on weapon management, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment down below about which of these protocols you are implementing today. Stay safe, stay armed, and I will see you on the next one.